Hello and welcome to another episode of the WildEdge Podcast. I'm Claire Ackers.
And I'm Anthony Ackers.
And we are out here in the woods in the beautiful dappled sunlight, recording another episode for you. And boy, have we got a good episode for you today. What are we talking about today, Ant?
So it's a topic that comes up almost with every client we work with, actually. And it's looking at the problem behind the problem. When we see people who come to us with something, and it's looking at it with some depth and saying what's going on behind there. Depth being one of our values. It's really important to not look at something superficially and go a level deeper.
Yeah. So should we start with a couple of stories?
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously we are either changing names or keeping these anonymous for obvious reasons. But the first story I want to share is a tech founder or tech co-founder who came to me because she had absolutely crippling imposter syndrome. She had just returned to work following spending some time at home with the kids. And she was walking into a highly technical business filled with absolutely rock star software engineers, not being technical herself. And her co-founder was brilliant technically. And she was coming in as MD of the company, but with this resounding narrative of, oh my gosh, I don't have any credibility to be here. So she came to me for confidence, essentially, for how to actually lead the business. But as Ant said, we very quickly uncovered the problem beneath the problem, which was that resounding narrative of, I'm not technical, nobody's going to listen to me, essentially. And this is one of my proudest case studies, because we ended up working together for 5+ years. And in that time together, she transitioned from being managing director to CEO of the business. The business went from 16 employees to 60 plus, and a really darn healthy turnover and reputation and award winning and all those accolades. And then she ended up exiting that business for a life-changing sum of money. So that's one of the case studies that I'm really proud of. And we worked together for a really long time. And the topic of imposter syndrome, this is a really interesting thing about imposter syndrome. Every single time she reached out for a new level, it popped up again. It's that new level, new devil that I've spoken about so many times. And actually, it is a good thing because it meant that she was out of her comfort zone and therefore growing, but it felt horrible. And if we hadn't been working together, she might have retreated and gone back to her comfort zone and not dared to go for that new level all the time. And I am so grateful that we had that long-standing relationship, because I was able to help her navigate all the twists and turns that come from growing a fast-paced, ambitious business.
It's almost like I have this conversation with nearly every client I work with. But this particular one, it's actually here in these woods, just to walk and talk. And the reason for the session is just one-off session to look at how to manage overwhelm and ultimately get more productive, because there were too many things going on, too many things happening. And it was about trying to find a more efficient way of using time to create more capacity in the business somehow. By if you work every second of every day for 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever it is, somehow that efficiency will solve all the problems. It's amazing how many people come to me with productivity and efficiency as a symptom. What was actually going on was the business needed to grow. It was at that stage where it had done really well. This person had grown it from just him and his business partner to a small team of 3 or 4, but they were still in the weeds. Still doing all the delivery, still doing all the sales, and I guess problem behind the problem is probably two bits here. The first problem behind the problem was that you kind of needed to push yourself up the business a little bit. You know, we always say when you're trying to scale, it's all about getting out of that sort of like that chaos of delivery, that chaos of managing delivery, and pushing yourself up to somewhere where you're directing the business more. But to do that, he needs to overcome his own imposter syndrome. You know, and I think that's when people start businesses based upon something they're good at or something they do. Everyone faces this, where they are no longer the person who's doing the do, or they have to become someone else.
Yeah.
And the challenge is actually believing that, and believing that you are that person, and letting go of what you used to do. Because you get so much more benefit from an hour of directing the business as you get from 30 days of doing delivery.
Yeah. This is a conversation I have all the time. The one particularly stands out with an MD I had back in January during a beacon session, actually, up near Haworth, where the conversation was around, and I've worked with this person for donkey's years now, was around accepting that she could add more value in half an hour strategic thinking in the woods than somebody else in the business had for a whole week of delivery. And that was both an empowering but scary concept for her, to own the fact that actually her value to the business was not in the delivery anymore. It was stepping away and steering the ship. And we see this all the time, don't we? Leaders who are clinging on to that old identity far longer than they should be because they're scared.
Yeah.
It's that question of, who the hell am I when I'm not getting that pat on the head from clients?
Yeah.
Or I'm not getting that recognition or that dopamine hit from pressing send on a project.
It's also visibility as well. Do you want to be visible in the wrong places? Do you want to be visible in front of their team as mucking in and helping out when they're under the pressure? But actually, you need to be visible as the leader of the business. That's far more important. You know, if you're at a point where you've got too much delivery for your team to handle, hunkering down and spending all your time delivering is not the answer. You need to grow.
Yeah.
Or you need to be able to increase your prices, or whatever it is, to be able to get that balance where you're making a good profit for the people you've got there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think sometimes the most valuable service, or the most valuable way that we can be our service to clients, is providing that safe space for them to explore where do they add value at this stage of the business growth, and how do they step into that role, and what does that actually mean in practice. Really good example of that is another client story. So the CEO of another tech firm, who I've worked with for 6+ years, but the company are currently in the middle of a merger, and headcount is about to double in size, and hopefully turnover will more than double in size as well from the merger. And they came to me because they were absolutely drowning in admin and how do we actually get this deal over the line. But actually, it transpired really quickly that the actual problem was that they were absolutely bricking themselves, I think that's the technical term, about whether they could step up and lead a business of that magnitude, about whether bringing in another set of cultures, another set of norms of behaviours and ways of working, where they had no reputation, no emotional credits, whether they would be accepted as the leader by all the new headcount. And that has been some of the most interesting work that we've been doing recently, is to unravel the old threads of identity and where that's helpful and where that's blocking them, and then to architect, how do I lead at this level? It's a privilege to do that kind of work. It really is, but it's so powerful.
We don't always get it right, though, do we? And I think anyone of our listeners who runs any sort of professional services business, where they're offering time for money, consultancy, legal, HR, coaching, all of that tech, they'll recognise this in that sometimes you get a client come through the door for a short amount of time. And in that small window you've got, a couple of hours sometimes, half a day, they come to you with a problem. And straight away, you know, you get an instinct, this isn't the problem, there's something else behind it. And we've probably been guilty in the past of being dragged into trying to solve the problem they're presenting us with, rather than looking at what's underneath it. And we've got better as we've gone along, and now, you know, I think we know that we need to solve that underlying problem, or otherwise it's not going to go anywhere.
Yes, and I think there's a really important nuance to point out here. So we absolutely we've designed our business model to offer entry-level conversations. So we have beacon sessions, which are designed to be a short, sharp intensive, and we offer 30-day intensives as well, which are designed to get quick wins. However, they are not designed to be standalone. They're designed to be relief from the presenting problem, but also a gateway to a deeper relationship where we can really help. And that's not what you're talking about, is it? What you are talking about is where we do ourselves and the client a disservice by stopping short of where we can really help.
I think with new clients especially, you sometimes feel under pressure to provide the value that they want rather than the value they need. And I think that was I wouldn't say a painful lesson. I think we realised it quite early on that we can't do that. But yeah, I recognise it from my past career and everything else. Someone comes to you saying, I want this, and it's a new client, you feel under pressure to provide them that, even though that isn't what they need right now.
Yeah. And you know what? I feel slightly differently on that. I think we could do that because we are very, very good at what we do. However, we know that our true zone of genius is in going deeper. And actually, it's about having the courage to go, look, we could solve your problem for you, but actually come and work with us for minimum 6 months and we will absolutely transform how you show up. And I don't want to be seen as every other leadership, consultancy, coaching business out there, because I know that we are building something truly world class, and we want to be working with people who are happy to financially, emotionally, time-wise invest in themselves and get the results as a result.
I don't think we are like a lot of other companies do that, because the way we do it as well, this sort of format, the spending more time with people, when we do walk and talk sessions, these are the places where those deep conversations can happen. Just allow you to take a step back and say, okay, this is the problem in it now. If I look at it as a microcosm, I can take a step back and see what's going on around it. And you can also challenge a little bit as well out here. It's a bit easier to sort of like say, okay, you could do this, but have you thought this is what might be going on?
And picking up on a conversation we had off mic, I don't think that we can call ourselves coaches anymore. I qualified as a coach in 2009. I've been coaching professionally since 2007. We've both got decades of experience in helping clients get results. But I think coaching is too basic a term for the service that how we can truly help people. If we see a client struggling and we've got benefit of experience and idea, then of course we're going to help them get there quicker. And I think that's really the power of what we do, is being able to trust ourselves to pick the best intervention to help our clients get world-class results.
Coaching is just a modality within what we do. We've got so many other things that we can offer as well.
So we actually struggled, didn't we, Ant, to pick just 3 stories to illustrate what goes on for our clients, because it is such a consistent pattern. And I would be surprised if people listening to this don't recognise themselves in this pattern. We could go on for hours and hours about the accidental CEOs, the people on the founder to CEO journey, the leaders of big businesses who, it's an identity problem, isn't it, at the heart? There is a gap between the leader their business needs them to be and how they currently see themselves. And that's where we excel, in helping people to level up.
It makes marketing really hard though. Saying that actually, come to the problem, we'll solve a different problem for you. But actually, maybe that in itself is the message, I think, is that there's so many. If you've got a problem, you can go on the internet, you can Google it, you can chat GPT it, it'll tell you what to do and how to fix it, but it doesn't understand what's going on underneath it. I think if you're out there and you just want a quick fix, go and get a quick fix. If you've been chasing quick fix after quick fix after quick fix and nothing's changed, then maybe you need to go a level deeper.
And actually, that's just sparked a different question as well, which is people think there is something wrong with them or that they have a problem, when actually it's the opposite. We firmly believe that they have got everything they could possibly need inside them. it's just become muddled or buried under unhelpful paradigms or just lost a little bit disconnected. And certainly the work that I love to do is help people remember how fucking awesome they are and how perfect they are to lead this business and then step into that power.
It's just a change of perspective. I mean, we use it all the time in marketing, but changing your environment, but also having somebody else there who can see things a little bit differently.
Yeah. So I hope you found this useful. Again, please do reach out to us with any feedback. Let us know what resonated. Let us know what topics you'd like to hear from us as well. We're really keen to make sure that we are answering your questions. And now it's time for Peak of the Week. Ant, over to you.
So middle of summer, Yorkshire Dales honeypots get really busy this time of year. I mean, places like Malham and the Yorkshire Free Peaks, Pennygent, Ingleborough, Whernside get so busy. Beautiful places to go, but you'll struggle to park. So I found somewhere which is, you'll probably not see a single person on the way up there, but it's still so remote and so beautiful out there. So today's Peak of the Week is Meugher. That's spelled Meugher. It's a very, very unassuming little bump on the horizon in one of the most remote places in England. It's not far from the furthest place in England from a road. It's on the cusp, on the watershed between Nidderdale and Wharfdale. And you start off at Housestein Gorge to get there. But yeah, it's absolutely remote, beautiful out there. A few with dipping spots and waterfalls on the way up. And once you learn to recognise on the horizon the Yorkshire Dales, you'll see it from everywhere. It's one of those little hills that's quite distinctive.
Amazing. And yes, of course, I have dipped in those waterfalls that you are talking about. And of course, if you are doing that, please do take all safety precautions. But yeah, great recommendation.
Thank you very much.
And we will, of course, link to that walk in the show notes.
So it's time again now for Claire's Coaching Corner. So Claire, what have you got for us today?
Well, we've got a bit of a last minute change, if I'm honest, Ant, because I did have one idea of what I was going to do. And then we started recording and then all the sounds of the outdoors appeared. We had trains, we had some sort of alarm on the lock, we had dog walkers with 7 different dogs appearing. And so I'm going to do a centering exercise of how you can block out all the distractions and come back to what you know to be true. And hopefully this will be a relevant one for our listeners right now. So I would like you to take a moment, just a couple of minutes where you know you're not going to be disturbed, and sit down, put your feet flat on the floor and just wriggle your shoulders and arrive into the space. Close down your eyes. And I want you to draw your attention to everything that's going on in your mind right now. Everything you've done today already, all the outside distractions and noises, everything you've got to do later, everything you should have done already but have forgotten to do. And just press pause and say thank you. It'll still be there when we're done, but just press pause for now. Then I want you to imagine your attention going down the back of your neck and arriving into your heart space. And maybe put one hand on top of the other in your heart space and take a couple of lovely, deep, life-affirming breaths from this heart space. Breathe in and out. And breathe in and out. And then I want you to tune in to how you're feeling. Just do a quick scan of your body from head to toe and just notice if there's anywhere that has tension, anywhere that feels a little bit stale, like it hasn't had any fresh air in a little while, and maybe just send some attention and some breath to that area. And tune back into your heart space. How are you feeling? What do you really want to do today? What have you said yes to that really you don't want to? What do you need to give yourself permission to do? What do you need to give yourself permission to stop? What are you really proud of? Just take a moment to tune into where you feel that resonate in your body. That is your power center and your opportunity to anchor it in. And then when you're ready, you can gently, gently, gently blink open your eyes and come back into the room. And I just want to invite you to reflect on what baby step, what action can you take to feel more aligned with yourself today. All you have as a leader, as a founder, as a CEO, is a choice about where to spend your energy. And I just want to invite you to do something that feels aligned today. That's all from us. Thank you so much for being here for another episode of the WildEdge Podcast. I'm Claire Ackers.
And I'm Antakas.
And we will see you next time.